do. I've seen France fight. Now, worst case scenario, may not happen. But this is the goal of many of the people that are pulling the strings in the Middle East. Here's how a caliphate would play out. You have Somalia and Iran already in green. Now let's add Tunisia. Former Tunisian government was considered one of the most secular and corrupt governments in the Arab world. The poor and the angry demanded changes. Most dangerous scenario is that radical Muslims seize power and put Sharia law into place. Same thing now with Egypt. Here is Egypt. The Muslim Brotherhood want this. They want a power grab from Mubarak. He's going to resign in September, he said just a few minutes ago. People are upset. Mubarak take a hard line against Israel, maintained a peace treaty with them. The Muslim Brotherhood, as you'll see in a minute, take a hard line against Israel. This could very easily be 1979 Iran. Then you have Jordan. The king is already considered a puppet because he sides with Western forces. Today, he said he's going to change out his government. Then you have Syria here. Here's Jordan. Here's Syria. Syria is already a puppet of the Iranians. Then you have Yemen. This is Saudi Arabia. All of your oil comes from here. Do you see what's happening? All of your oil. You get your oil from here and here. How does that happen? And you have Lebanon. Iranian-backed Hezbollah is in the driver's seat of their government. If you go back to Africa, you have Nigeria. Parts of the country are already controlled by Sharia law. Somalia, most of the country right now is living under Islamic law. Sudan, the country is split in the Sudan. The north is imposing Sharia law already. The south is largely Christian. They're slaughtering each other. Here's Algeria. Notice its location. Algeria. Al-Qaeda already has a significant presence there. Then you have the Ivory Coast down here. The election turmoil is going on right now between Christians and the new Islamic president. Then you have all the other ones that are on a tipping point, already a hotbed of Al-Qaeda activity. Libya has already been anti-Israel, pro-terrorism for a long time. Then you have Morocco. Morocco, important, significant Al-Qaeda activity. The king has been battling, but if you go back here, you have, remember, this is Iraq. Look at what you're surrounded by. Iraq is really important, especially to the Shiites, especially to the who are in charge of this country right now. Because what is in Iraq? There's one place that we told our bombers not to bomb. Does anybody know what it was? 2 wars in Iraq. We said, no bombing there. Ancient Babylon. Ancient Babylon. Why? Because the Bible tells us that that is the seat, right here, of power of a global evil empire. Well, that's also where the 12th Imam from Iran is supposedly going to show up. Everybody on this side wants ancient Babylon for their caliphate. Turkey was originally the seat of the Ottoman Empire, the last caliphate. It's now modern-day Turkey. It has an Islamist government that is moving aggressively pro-Iran, anti-Israel. Saudi Arabia, God help them, I don't know what happens to those guys. And the Gulf states that are all nearly defenseless and tiny, all of them, throw them in. You have it? Now what happens? You move over to Asia and you grab the ones. Once this domino starts to fall, and the Muslims start to see, oh my gosh, we might have a caliphate. We might be able to have Islam imposed and Sharia law all over the globe. You start to lose all of Asia. Now, let's go up this way, shall we? Turkey's prime minister came out and supported today the Egyptian protesters. Morocco. If Morocco flips, it puts pressure on Portugal and Spain. It could close off the Strait of Gibraltar, which is right here. We all know how weak this entire area, the Iberian Peninsula, is very weak. Let's talk about 22% unemployment in Spain. It's also once a Muslim land. They have high Muslim populations. It's already in trouble. Bad economic situations, food prices go up. Well, let me ask you this. Here's Spain, here's France. What happens to France? You already have a lot of Algerians living there. You go to Italy, you have the Libyans living there. You have Great Britain, where many of them are from Pakistan. So what happens? What happens? This is the worst case scenario. But it is the best case scenario for the groups that are organizing the protest. Now, this is not the average person in Egypt. These are the people that are trying to grab power. And it can happen because you're not being told the full truth. And you're not being told the full truth by the same people that didn't tell you the full truth before 9/11. They were nonchalant about the threat of before 9/11, and they're doing it now. The same people are telling you now that the Muslim Brotherhood and the fall of Egypt is all about freedom. It is not. It is not about freedom. It is not about democracy. It is about an Islamic state.
Spoke about last night. You cannot establish Islam at the macro level, so go ahead and establish at the micro level. The jihad is already in force to liberate the Holy Land. No one can stop that jihad. No one can stop it. The jihad is already in force to liberate the territory from where the army will come, from Khorasan. No one can stop that jihad. When you see that army coming from Khorasan, the Prophet said, go and join that army, even if you have to crawl over ice. Because no one will be able to stop that army until it reaches Jerusalem. Where is Khorasan? Khorasan, in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, has been researched by the eminent Pakistani scholar, Dr. Israr Ahmad, and he has explained that Khorasan is that territory which extends from northwest Pakistan, the Pathan belt, northeast Iran, the whole of Afghanistan, and the territory north of Afghanistan. But clearly Afghanistan is in the heart of Khorasan. Now, this territory has one thing distinctive about it, that Europe could never colonize the heart of Khorasan. The British tried when Britain was the ruling state in the world, and the British failed. And then the Russians tried when they had the superpower, the Soviet Union. And after 12 years, the Russians failed. And guess who is trying now? Yes. The war in Khorasan has just begun, Mr. Bush. It has just begun. On that day, when Islam liberates Afghanistan, I believe it is that army which will be unstoppable until it reaches Jerusalem.
Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. This is for the Muslims who are searching for an answer. From Baghdad to Gaza, Medina, Al-Aqsa, bring back Islam.
What is after al-Mulk al-Jabri, this military kingdoms? يقول صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم تكون خلافة على منهاج النبوة.